It's time for the one and only Jess T, the angel of the airwaves, exclusively here on countryradiouk.
It's afternoon over here. It's Jess T from countryradiouk, and I am interviewing the gorgeous Sinead Burgess today. How are you, Sinead?
Doing great. Just here in a very stormy Nashville today. Actually, we've woken up to a pretty big thunderstorm. So
Yes,
no
I
complaints.
think it's
Nashville,
quite chaotic
so
over there.
yeah, it's been crazy. We only got back into town yesterday, but same thing. Yesterday afternoon, we kind of looked outside and it was just blowing, and we're kind of checking the tornado watch thing because that's a whole new, obviously, thing to look at in Nashville. Just to be on that, but yeah, it's a great place to be.
Well, it is a great place to be, and certainly for a country singer or an Americana, all umbrella singer, actually. But you don't come from Nashville; you come from Australia. So,
I do.
first of all, tell me a little bit about that, because Australia actually does have a wealth of Americana and country music artists. I can list quite a few of them that I certainly listen to. There's Kaylee Bell, there's Blake O'Connor, there's Brad Cox, there's Brooke and Adam.
Oh my gosh, you know them all. That's awesome.
I do. I've interviewed Brooke and Adam, Brooke McClyman and Adam Eckersley. They are phenomenal. You've got a lot of talent over there, so it's lovely to meet another source of the talent. So tell me about how that started out for you over in Oz.
Well, the cool thing is you actually just named two of my roommates here in Nashville. I don't know if you knew that, but I live with Blake O'Connor and Kaylee Bell. So very, very fortunate to call Blake my other half. So yeah, we've got this big musical house here in Nashville now, and it's amazing. So it's very cool that you know those guys.
That's made my day.
If only they were here. I think Blake's still surfacing, and Kaylee's back in Australia at the moment. But beautiful people, amazing artists. But for myself, I moved over to Nashville. We all kind of did pretty much in April, and it's been amazing. I mean, as you know, I'm sure, like Nashville just truly is the mecca of country music and music in general. You know, there's so many genres that find themselves here, and different writers and producers, and like everyone really does sort of all congregate here. So you know, you can go down the street and meet any of the top guys that are right here. But it's been amazing. You know, I've been very fortunate to be playing music for a long time, and really building an amazing fan base that are really loyal, and a lot of them have been incredibly supportive of me moving over here to Nashville and making it happen. So yeah, it's honestly it's the greatest move. I absolutely love it here.
It is Music City for a reason. It certainly is the hub. I know that, people are saying that it's a little bit touristy these days, but it's still certainly the place to be if you are a music maker and you want to be seen and heard, because it is, the prime place for, the platform. But how do you find life in Music City at the moment? Because it's quite a change, I'm sure, from being in Australia. So, how did you find that initially?
It definitely is. I was actually I was fortunate to be living here just before the pandemic hit as well. So I was here for about 2 years, sort of on and off. I was kind of traveling between here and LA mostly, and it was incredible. You know, I was in the UK a lot, but it was a really great hub for me. But I actually went home to Australia. I moved out of where I was, put everything in boxes, put it into storage, went home to Australia, didn't realize I was moving home, thought I was going back for a month and a half, to the point where I still had, perishable food items in some of my boxes because I was going back, right? And then lo and behold, obviously the world shuts down. So, what was meant to be a month and a half trip back in Australia ended up being 3 years. So it was definitely a crazy time. But to your point, since coming back, that so much has changed, even in those 3 years. I don't know if you've been downtown since 2019, but it is just wild. There's like a big Apple store up right next to, all the main honky tonk bars. There's all these really big food court, eatery, sort of situation, lots of retail shopping. So there's that kind of really big city feeling about Nashville now. But, that aside, there's still such a beautiful element to the small town feeling that makes me love Nashville. For all of us, it's a really nice feeling to kind of know everybody, and everybody says that's the blessing and the curse in Nashville. Everybody knows everybody, but it's incredible. It still has that heart of Nashville here, and all the musicians and creatives are still, keeping that alive, which is great.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I hear, you know, that 'cause it's been a while since I've been there, but actually going into the back streets and finding those old school music venues that do still function, do still exist, and are still churning out, you know, all different elements of what we consider country and Americana, and a little bit away from the more stag do feeling and the more sort of
Yeah.
mainstream, you know,
More of
music.
the statues. Yeah.
Yeah, the mainstream music. You know, listen, it's great. It's great. It all has its place. But you know, as a budding musician, you want to go to the heart, and you want to find the people that you resonate with. I'm sure, and the people that are like-minded and create. That's what you want to be doing.
Absolutely. I think that, for me, that's what drew me to country music, when I was 15 even, is I grew up playing instruments, and that was how I expressed myself. I sat and I wrote songs at the piano and songs at the guitar when I picked that up. And that's really like what connected me to music. It was that ability to kind of, share how I was feeling in song form. And I didn't realize that was country music at the time. It's just something I always did. And the more I discovered country music and the real storytellers and the real songwriters, the more that made sense to me. And I think as time's gone on, certainly as music's evolved and country music's evolved, that's probably why I've headed even further into the sort of Americana singer-songwriter territory, is because that is, like you say, it's really the true heart of what makes that music great, and honest. And for me, it has to be honest. It has to be laced with a lot of truth, even if that's uncomfortable, because I think that's kind of our job as artists and songwriters, is we have to give voice to people that can't necessarily put it to music. We have to be that voice as well. And I find the more specific that we are when we're writing, oddly the more broadly it connects, which it's a really cool piece of magic to me, because it's like we all experience the same things.
That is so eloquently and beautifully put, and you're quite right. That's exactly it. You are the voice. You are our voice, everybody's voice. You know, whoever gets to listen to your music gets to not only resonate with you and their own personal situations, but they get you get to say it in the way that perhaps they couldn't. And we all get to listen to a song and go, wow, that was beautifully written. And you do write beautiful music yourself. So you have new music coming up, which is really, really exciting, because you're coming back in, because it's been 2 years, if I'm correct, 2 years since you've released anything. You're bringing Rolling Stone, your brand new single, out on the 4th of August. So why has it taken you so long?
Well, obviously the big old pandemic in the middle didn't really help. But that being said, I've spent a lot of time in the last couple of years, especially in that time with the pandemic. I think, obviously with the world shutting down, I went through a lot of life changes towards the end of 2019. And it really took that time for me to process everything, and sit and literally go back to like what I said when I was 15. What made me love music is sitting with the guitar and piano and writing how I felt. And so really that time, I think it took for me to really write the songs that I felt like were ready for the next record, and now I've been fortunate enough to write too many songs for the record. So it's like, it's a good but difficult decision to be in now, where I'm sort of whittling down at the moment exactly what I want the record to say. But yeah, I'm super excited. Rolling Stones is the first cab off the ranks for me for the next record, and it just felt like the right step. I felt like I needed a cool, sort of more joyous, nostalgic introduction to the next phase, because there's so many facets to what I've been writing about, that even within the things that may have held sort of certain feelings at certain times, it's like you can come out of that the other side, quite joyous and nostalgic, and feeling good about the things that took a little, a bit of effort to go through. So I'm super excited. It's definitely time for me to release new music.
Certainly. I mean, you're no stranger to the music scene, as you say. I know that you've sort of garnered your inspiration around 15 and through your teenage years, but you have already toured with fairly good artists, including the Shires, who are, one of the biggest bands that we have in the country scene over here in the UK. How did that come about, and how did you find that?
Well, it was the most amazing tour. Firstly, it was honestly like still some of my favorite memories of being on the road. And I just adore Ben and Chrissy so much and miss them terribly, which is exciting when I get back to the UK, because I can't wait to see them. It's been a minute. But the way that actually came about was interesting. I was playing a really sort of quiet Monday night in a bar here in Nashville, and I was playing at a place called The Row. And it was one of those nights where you kind of look out, the weather's not great. you're going, oh, is anyone going to be there? All that kind of thing. And I went along and played the show, and little did I know there was a guy in the audience who was from the UK, and he came up to me after I played and said, hey, I really enjoyed your stuff. We're in town writing for our record at the moment. Do you want to get together and write? My name's Ben. I'm from a band called The Shires. And I was like, oh, you're kidding. I'm like, I actually know your guitar player. So I'd actually toured with their guitar player many years ago in Australia. So it was just a bit of a full circle moment, And anyway, so we got together and wrote some songs and wrote a song, and he introduced me to Chrissy as well. And then all of a sudden we just had a big old ham time in Nashville and all got really close, and just had a blast. And in passing one night, I'm sure it would have been just them saying, oh, you should come on the road with us and open throughout the UK on our tour. And I'm like, yeah, of course, I'd love to, not sort of thinking too much more than that. And anyway, not long after that, I think it was in January, I got an email from Ben saying, hey, like, we're going to go live with this announcement on Friday. Are you good? And I was like, yeah, I should probably get a visa, but yeah, cool, let's go. So yeah, I ended up, out on the road with them. That kind of prompted me pushing sort of my last record, Damaged Goods, through a lot faster, and I got that done for the tour, which was amazing. And from there, it just really, it was just the most incredible tour. We got to play the Royal Albert Hall and a bunch of beautiful places over there, and meet some amazing people, and just sort of play all my songs to a bunch of you lovely British folk, which I enjoyed. So
we'll be coming over to do so yet again, which is extremely exciting. Please tell us about that, because you get to support one of the biggest headliners that we have, rising headliners in the UK. Kezia Gill is a force to be reckoned with, and I couldn't have thought of anybody better to support her than yourself. So tell us how that's come about, and tell us the details and how we can get on board with seeing you, because I'll certainly be doing so.
Awesome. No, I cannot wait for that tour. It's Kezia is just incredible. I first heard of Kezia, obviously when she opened for the Shires. Chrissy was like, oh, you'll love Kezia. She's amazing. She's just been so great to have on the road. And so I kind of, started looking into her music and obviously on Instagram and all that kind of thing during that period. And it's just been amazing to see someone so raw and energetic and honest sort of breakthrough as well over there. Like I said, like that's what drags me towards music that I love. So I really love what she's doing. And I connected with her manager, actually, Donna Zanetti, on online on Instagram, and we sort of connected over FaceTime and just really got along well, and sort of got talking about some opportunities to come back to the UK. And she said, actually, Kezia is about to do this amazing tour. We're going to announce really soon. And then, from there, we kind of all got together on it and made it happen, which is incredible. So it all definitely came together really quickly. But I'm just super excited. It's cool to be a part of something that, is really exciting, and watching her sort of grow through the UK markets. Just it's so badass. She's just kicking butt, and I'm super excited to be a part of that.
Absolutely, she certainly is, and it will be a joy to see you both do it together. So when will you be over? You let us know.
Well, we are coming. Oh, I'm coming over in October to join her. I think our first gig is on the 13th of October.
Right.
And we've got about 8 shows sort of heading through the UK, and going back to a lot of spots that are definitely on my favorites list. So super pumped to get over there and obviously bring all the new music over with me.
Certainly. And do you have a catalogue over to bring to us? Do you have new music that you're going to trial on the UK fans and listeners?
I definitely will. And at this point, it looks like that'll be the first real testing of the waters of a lot of these songs. A lot of these songs that we played for the first time on that tour, which is super exciting. So we'll obviously have Rolling Stones out, and it looks like we'll have another track out by that point too. So you'll have a little taste test of what's going to come. But I'm super excited to kind of get these songs out there and see what people think.
You really are. Where would you say that your influences lie? Because I think that you have quite a unique blend of styles in your music. You're there's a softness to you, but there's also quite a raw grit, and obviously storytelling is top of your priorities in terms of how you deliver your music, certainly. So how would you say that you present yourself in your music, and influences that have that that have an impact on you?
I'd say I'm definitely probably mostly a hybrid, like you say, like there's a lot of influences, excuse me, a lot of influences in me that I've sort of grown up with and just really resonated with. One of my favorite artists of all time is Tom Petty. And he really, I guess, was a bit of a masterclass in songwriting to me, is just writing, something so simple. And yet it's so complex in so many other ways, and I think that he really, was an Americana artist in his time. We just didn't really have the tag of that, back then. But
No.
I love artists like that, and Sheryl Crow, and like these ballsy sort of artists that kind of do their thing, and Brandy Carlisle and all those guys. But then on the flip side of that, so much of the raw emotion side of me, I guess, comes out with just being bare bones and honest. And I think probably the closest artist that does that is Brandy Carlisle, where she has her sort of all out more rock intensity, and then really scales it back to something that's honest. But I listen to artists like Foy Vance as well, like sort of some stuff outside of
you don't need to tell me on Foy. I've seen several times myself. That is, you're close to God when you see that man.
Oh, I haven't seen him live yet, and I'm dying to see him. I cannot wait. We're actually speaking in that vein, we're going to see Glenn Hansard at the Ryman in a couple of weeks, which would be amazing. But sort of similar in that vein, where it's just you can't listen to that music without just being completely shifted, know. And that for me is the most pure and honest version of what I feel when I'm writing music, So it kind of just becomes a big hybrid. I can't just live here and I can't just live here. I kind of have to have the best of both worlds.
I love that, and that's why I'm always so intrigued to see what influences people. And I usually find it's just a combination of rock and all different. There's always been an influence. I always say it comes from family. It always does come from family. It's kind of who your parents listen to, who your friends listen to, and you take elements of all of that and then create your own style. Certainly. My
mum used to listen to Fleetwood Mac a lot too, and that for me was just, that's the epitome of it. It's like, again, they've got this rock, but everything is laced with this undertone of complete honesty, to the point where that's what they're known for, but they'll scale it right back too. So yeah, a lot of stuff in the 70s. Just very grateful my mum and dad played a lot of great music growing up.
Oh, I know. Well, we're blessed. We really, really were. They led us in the right way, on the right path.
That's it.
So I take it that you do perform out in do you go back home to Australia? Are you going to go back home and perform back out there as well? Because I know you're in Nashville, and it's fantastic that you are actually, I'm so excited to hear that you are sort of mixing in the circles of people who are like-minded back home, from back home too. How are you finding that? As a trio, well, I suppose you're a trio if you're all living together in a way.
Yeah, right.
So you've all got different journeys as well, because you are different artists, very much so, actually. So I'm intrigued, how do you bounce off each other?
Well, I have to say, touch wood, but I've known Kaylee for a long time. Obviously, I absolutely adore Blake too. We just work together. Like, it is honestly the coolest house to live in. We just,
I know.
Sit here, we'll have a margarita around the table and just go, how have we done this? Like, it's just incredible. And we are truly supportive of each other. I think that's the coolest thing. There's no competitive nature to, oh, what are you doing? Oh, I can't tell you this, I can't tell you that. It's like, we are all just so, just really supportive and really championing each other. And we'll sit around and, again, over a margarita, but we'll have like big sort of powwows about, okay, what can we do to make this like happen? Like, how can we help you with like brainstorming for what you can do for this release, and like different things that it's just a very unique experience, and even Kaylee, like, I do a lot of graphic design and merch, and like I do all my own sort of thing, just because I adore, like, visuals are just such a big thing for me, and I just love old band tees and like cool things. So but I just did all of Kaylee's merch design for her last tour that she went on, and so we can kind of get together on things like that. And we're really blessed to be in a place like this, because we're in, obviously, Music City. It's a whole new place for all of us. We've moved across the world, but we have such a hub of home here. So it's amazing.
That's what I'm finding particularly intriguing, and why I'm sort of pressing you on that, because I find that quite a unique circumstance, because the music industry is a dog industry. It always has been. And that's what I've just gravitated towards in terms of your conversation, that actually, wow, that's really cool. That's three people that have come from, the other side of the world, and have come over, taken a punt, and are supportive of each other. So you even saying that, you're doing the merch for your mate, for your friend who, also is champion, got the same goal as you. There's no competitiveness here. There's support, and there's a lot to
Very
be
unique.
learned from that. That's something that's very, very important to me. I always find it very, very important to try to push support between musicians, and I think you guys are an inspiration in terms of that. So thank you for doing, just for sharing that, because I think that's really imperative for people to know.
Thank you. But I honestly think it really comes down to as well, like we're all very, comfortable in the paths we're taking. We're all very like, we know where we want to go. We know we're going there. And just having that support with each other it really does change the goalposts of feeling like you're able to do something, like we're all big manifestors. We're all like very much on the train of being focused on what we want. And yeah, it's I agree. I think that there should be way more of that. I'm a huge advocate for that, because I just think, helping each other grow and be the best, it's only going to make the whole quality of the industry better. We're all going to be rising up because of it, so yeah, I'm a big believer in that, and so are Blake and Kaylee, so very, very lucky to
That is
call them roommates.
infectious positivity, and I love hearing that. Certainly, that's fantastic. So, in terms of interest, what are the few things that you're excited about? You're coming over to the UK and you're touring the UK, and hopefully we'll have good weather. But at the moment, sorry, no summer. So hopefully,
It's no summer.
you'll get a great autumn. But
Yeah.
what are you looking forward to experiencing over in the UK, apart from a cup of tea?
Yeah. Oh, well, great cup of tea. I cannot tell you how much, how hard it's been to find like a good
Uh-huh.
stock standard builder's tea situation here in Nashville. It's like
Builder's
crazy.
tea standard. Thank you very much. I know. Do you want sweet tea or unsweetened tea? No, I just want a cup of tea.
I know, exactly. It's like, no, I just want a strong, great cup of tea. Anyway, there's not much that a cup of tea can't fix. But honestly, apart from a cup of tea, there's a great, this is going to sound really bad, but something I'm really looking forward to is there's a great cafe in Manchester called Federal Cafe. It's an Australian cafe. Really excited to go back there. Always hit that when I'm in Manchester. But honestly, I'm just excited to reconnect with so many fans that I've made over there over the years. Truly, like, it felt like the most resonant time I've ever had when I've toured the UK, and I think it's a real testament to how you guys all appreciate music as well. It's like you really care about lyrics, you really care about the truth in music, and you can really sense the truth in music. So again, for me, that really aligns with who I am as an artist, and I've just made some beautiful fans. I've got a great fan. I mean, there's so many, but Molly May, who is just this beautiful artist and great girl. She's been so supportive. She's just bought tickets. Her and her mum have bought tickets to every one of Kezia's shows to make sure that they can hit all 8 to come and see us. And she's always creating artwork for me. And she's just one of the most beautiful, amazing fans. And, I'm really lucky to have some beautiful people like that, over there. So I think, giving those guys a big hug and obviously like sharing some new music too. It's something like, honestly, I cannot wait to get back.
Yeah, it does sound like a really, really exciting time, and I'm looking forward to meeting you over here and to getting to hear you shine up on the stage with our Kez as well. But honestly, what a fantastic opportunity for all of you and for all of us as well. So I can't wait to finally get to see you and get to see you live. And so I implore everybody, get your tickets in. Come on, come and see Sinead.
I think they're dwindling, so you got to get on it before they
Get
go.
on it. Fantastic. We're early days, and if you're selling out, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. I think you're going to go down a storm, and it's been an absolute pleasure to meet you today. So I can't wait to see you in the flesh.
Thank you so much. We'll have a margarita.
That's a plan. Absolutely.
Love it.
You take care, darling. I'll speak to you soon.
Hi guys, it's Jess T on countryradiouk. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and know that there will be plenty more music videos, live exclusives and performances from country music artists across the UK and beyond.